Noam's departure, though, comes from DHS comes as a group of local stakeholders in the Latino community presented the strong message that we headlined right off the top today. They believe that the Hispanic vote, fueled by disapproval of immigration enforcement efforts, will be a swing vote possibility that all candidates will need in order to win in the midterm elections. That's what they say. Ken Molestina was at that meeting in Dallas today. What do they believe Latinos will determine the election? How do they believe that?
Well, Doug, mainly they're looking at numbers, right? They're looking at things like voter turnout, the fact that immigration was the driving factor for so many who went to the polls, and the reason for why they voted the way they did. So the reality here is that Latinos in the state of Texas, they are well represented in both the Democratic and the Republican parties. We all know that. However, leaders at this news conference earlier today, they say their research shows that there's been about a 10 to 15% shift in Hispanic voters across the state who left the Republican Party and this time around instead voted Democrat. Now, the reason for this, they say, is their disapproval for immigration enforcement efforts under the Trump administration and for the lack of sensible immigration reform in Congress. They claim what Latino voters want are pathways to citizenships like the Dignity and the DREAM Act that have stalled in Congress. Now, additionally, they've become increasingly opposed to what many have described as aggressive and overreaching enforcement tactics used to remove immigrants who are in the country seeking status via the judicial process. Have a listen to what they said.
You have poked the bear. The numbers that came out during the primary election have proved that. You don't mess with our families. We are mixed. The majority of us are mixed status families.
The primary showed that enforcement-only rhetoric is a gamble. An enforcement-only message has alienated Hispanic and moderate voters.
Hispanic and Latino voters are not owned by either party. We are united by faith, family, work, and opportunity, and we are willing to work with leaders who respect those values. Our vote will determine the midterms.
Well, that last gentleman that you heard from, that's Mr. Massey Villarreal. He is an outspoken Republican who told me the GOP is going to have to change its messaging over immigration specifically if they want to continue to enjoy the kind of support that they have from Latino voters here in the state of Texas and, quite frankly, Doug, throughout the entire country. That's what they're saying. We'll see what happens as the runoffs come up soon and, of course, the general midterm election here in November.